right, for this one you are choosing a word, any word. And I chose word. We're looking at a little bit of perspective and how to achieve that through values. So I did put a line right above my letters, and what I'm going to do is above that line also put a little dot. Okay, this is going to work with 1 point perspective, and everything's going to go back to that particular line. So all my edges of my letters are going to go back to that line. Okay, so you do need to use a ruler for this, because on this particular one, precision is very, very important. Now, you don't always have to have your letters go back to a vanishing point. Sometimes when you're working and want to establish depth, doing it in a variety of different ways can be successful. This is just how I'm doing it this time. If you have a rounded letter, like I do here, you're going to the very, 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 very edge of your letter, just like that. And always make sure that one side of your ruler is at your vanishing point. And I'm just slowly going around and getting each edge. If you do have a bottom, like I do on my D, I would stop at the top of my R. So whenever you run in to another letter, you would stop, because the letters would be considered solid objects. All right, so I have my wonderful word with accurate perspective receding into space. So I'm going to erase the lines that I don't need. I don't need my vanishing point anymore, and I don't need my extra side lines or my in-between lines. I'm going to get some better erasers here. All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, if you'd like to color these, of course you can, but since we're working with shading, I'm just going to be doing this with a regular pencil. And I'm going to keep my letters perfectly white, so nice and pristine, and all my shading and my values are going to be on the backs, and they're going to be receding into space. So really close to my letters, right next to it, it's going to be super dark. Very, very dark. And then as we go back further into space, it's going to get lighter. So I light up, not as heavy with my pencil, and I got a little bit dark there, so I'm just going to go in with my eraser, tap it out, and lighten up that area. Right up top, very dark, super close. Then a medium, and almost white. And I am still getting kind of dark, so I'm going to go in and erase some of this. Very dark, starting off, and lighter the further back you get. You do want to make sure you define your edges, so if you have one side that's right next to another side, like I do with my W, maybe one of them's a little bit darker, just to help define that edge. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing at the top of my interior W, and then go on to my next side. It's a very abrupt change right here. So I'm going to go in, see if I can soften that up a little bit. And again, if I wanted to use my eraser, I always could. It's there for my use. But slowly lightens up as it recedes back into space. And if you wanted to define your edges, you definitely could. But that would be a personal preference. Okay, and then on to the W, and no, not the W, the O, like the rest of your letters. And on this one, be rounded, so I want to make sure to round out the back of my letters. And your change is going to happen fast, so you want to make sure that you're light with your pencil so you can erase if you need to, because I am having a tendency of going a little bit dark. I like to push my values a lot. And if you do too, that might mean that you need to slowly build. Don't forget the interior. If you have a word like mine, and then you would continue until it looks something like this.